I've always been a Boxster fan. I've always thought they were cool, and they've always intimidated me, largely because of the motor and the IMS bearings and the cost to fix it if something goes wrong. And he solved that. What's up, guys? It's Wooley from S3 Magazine. We're at Motorworks Racing today, checking out this Porsche 986 Boxster with an Audi 1.8T conversion. All I'm trying to do is plant the seed that I know is already there and get it to grow. I'll be on Craigslist tonight looking for some sort of IMS problem Boxster that I can maybe get cheap. Are awesome. They're really good friends of mine. They do a lot of really cool stuff. Some of you might know them from their heritage collection with the 944s that they put the 1.8 turbo motors in. Basically, the short story on that is they took what was originally a Volkswagen Audi 1.8 turbo, totally rebuilt the thing, and started putting them into 944s. The motors weren't fast, yet they were still Porsche expensive to maintain, right? So you would have a situation where somebody had a car that they maybe had for a long time in the family, or they had a race car they put a lot of work into, and they would have motor problems, and you would have to spend a whole bunch of money for not a lot of return on the performance end. You would have to source parts, and it was just becoming more and more of a pain as time went on. So the 1.8 turbo from Motorworks was a solution to that, and these cars are really cool. Well, now, kind of stage two is what we're looking at here with the 986 and 987 Boxster. We've got two more inside that are, you know, an ideal picture of what one could look like. This started its life as kind of a forgotten $6,000 chassis, and then put the 1.8 turbo in. Whether you already had one and you had like a little race car and you were so married to it, you know, this is an option now. If you're a tuner like we are, and maybe you've always thought a Boxster was cool, and it's got pedigree, it's got history, and it's got them James Dean, you know, spider lines, and there's a lot to look at. Like, this is kind of, I know the Boxster gets a bad rap, but it is really a pure Porsche when you get down to the nuts and bolts, especially in the newer era of the 911s getting bigger. Like, I mean, those cars are great, but like, this is really pure. I don't know if you can hear me, but there's just something about the motor being right here and the blow off being right there and the turbo being right there. Like, this is as raw as it gets, and kind of as pure Porsche as it gets, even though I know it's arguably maybe not a Porsche as far as the engine goes, but sometimes that's the good part. It's not just numbers for me, it's the way a car makes you feel. It's the sound, and the sound comes from behind you, and you hear the turbo and the blow-off valves. It's the open air, the fact that, you know, you are part of what you're driving and where you're driving. That Matt kind of designs these engines and these tunes, and his vision with the 1.8 turbos is that you can start this thing mild at like a 250 horsepower range, which this one is, might be a little bit more than that, but you can grow with the car or your budget or both, and run these things all the way up to an absolutely wicked 700 horsepower. I know 700 in the modern era might not be earth-shattering. This is a different 400, 500, 600 horsepower than your buddy's Mustang or Camaro or GTR or whatever it is. This is completely, this is race car stuff. This car with this swap in it, the way it sits now, is barely cracking 2,200 pounds. I think he said they took like 400 or 500 pounds out of it. What you're looking at here, it can be done for probably $30,000 to $40,000. That's for a mild build, and that's for, you know, a stock body car. And unlike the Heritage, with the Heritage 944s that they do, that was something that you could only do through them. So you couldn't say, hey, let me get the motor and put it in my 944. They were really protected, for good reason, of you know, the image of those cars. and the impression that those cars had. So they wanted to kind of protect that. This they're going to do a little bit differently. So initially the first ones that are coming out are going to be like a customer base. So like a customer will come and say, I want to do one, and they'll source the car and they'll do the work and they'll do everything. It'll be kind of a turnkey price and package. Once that kind of gets a little bit of momentum going and they establish kind of the name and what they're doing in the 986, 987 world, then they will begin to open it up to where if you're a garage mechanic like a lot of us are, you will be able to buy the motor from them and do the install yourself if you want to. If you're a Porsche guy or a tuner guy, I mean, this should be really, or just a driver, like this should be really exciting stuff for you because it opens up so much more for such an iconic chassis. All right, thanks for watching, guys. Please like, subscribe, tell a friend, do whatever y'all do. We really appreciate you.